everyone, it's Sherry. I hope that you are having a wonderful day. Y'all, today we are going to talk about some of the most common questions I received in 2022. Stay tuned. Y'all, it's the last Friday before Christmas, and since we aren't doing any more Christmas crafting, I thought I'd take a moment and just spend some time answering some of the most common questions that I got in 2022. Welcome to my channel. I am so glad that you decided to stop by. And welcome to all of my new subscribers and to all of my new friends. Welcome back to all of my longtime subscribers and longtime friends. Thank you guys so much. So much for the awesome trust you've placed in me this year by watching my videos, by supporting my channel. I really do appreciate it. And for those of you who are new to paper crafting or you have recently joined my channel, I think you'll find this video very useful in helping you to navigate how to use my channel, some of the items that I use, why I use them, where I get some of the things that I get. I think that you'll find it helpful. So let's get started. I'm going to go over the questions in no particular order. Your question that you have might not be one that I answer in this video. I am focused on the most common questions that I get. One of the most common questions that I get is, what type of glue do you use? I use Reptile adhesive. I've been using Reptile now for over 2 years, maybe close to 3 years. I can't even remember when I found this awesome adhesive, but I absolutely love it. I use it for almost everything. It adheres paper to paper, plastic to paper, plastic to metal, metal to paper. I am able to attach so many things with this adhesive that it is my go-to. I replaced all of my other adhesives with the exception of E6000. I replaced all of my other adhesives with Reptile adhesive. But what I've also found is what I'm using E6000 for, the Reptile will also work. And along with the question, what type of glue do I use, is what type of tape am I using? I use scrappy tape. Now, I've been using scrappy tape long before I was ever on YouTube. I've been using scrappy tape now, I know, for over 10 years, probably longer than that. And I love the tape. It's easy to work with. The prices are comparable to the prices that you'll find for other tapes out there. And I have tried other tapes, and I always find myself going back to the scrappy tape. I get asked a lot, when do I use tape versus when do I use glue? Now for me, my go-to adhesive is wet glue, the Reptile adhesive. But I will use my tape when I'm using large pieces of chipboard that I don't want to cover in a wet glue because that might cause the chipboard to warp. So I will cover that chipboard in tape. If it's a smaller piece of chipboard, I don't mind covering it in glue because it's probably not going to warp it. Now when I'm making boxes or bags and I'm joining the corners, I'm joining the two pieces together to put the body of the item together, I am most likely going to go to my Reptile adhesive because I like the permanence of the glue. It dries clear, it hardens very well. I don't have to worry about whether or not it's going to buckle under the weight of what I might put in an item. Some of you might prefer to use tape. I don't like to use tape when I'm putting together anything that might need to bear some weight. And the reason for that is sometimes the tape can break down, sometimes the tape can get brittle, and it might pull apart. So I prefer to use my Reptile adhesive when I am making anything that will carry some weight. Now, is it necessary for you to have Reptile adhesive or scrappy tape for your projects to be successful? It is not. There are some very good glues on the market. If you have a glue that is working for you, keep using it. If you have a tape that is working for you, keep using it. But these are the items that I use, and these are the questions that I get about these two items. So I'm not doing a sales pitch here to get you to switch. Awesome if you do decide to switch, but for me, Reptile adhesive is my go-to. Scrappy tape is my go-to for tear tape. Another common question that I get is about chipboard. What type of chipboard do I use? What weight is that chipboard? I primarily use a medium weight chipboard. I have on occasion on the channel used a lightweight, and I will use a lightweight from time to time. But my go-to chipboard is a medium weight. I purchased mine in the 12 by 12 sheets because I like to be able to cut them into the sizes that I need. Now, it's not necessary for you to purchase the 12 by 12s because it is sold in a variety of sizes, 8 by 8, 6 by 6, 8.5 by 11. So you do have choices out there. I personally use a lot of chipboard, so that is one of the reasons why I buy mine in the 12 by 12 sheets. But again, it's not necessary for you to have a 12 by 12 sheet of chipboard if you have something that you want to substitute for it. And that leads me into the next question. The next question is very broad. I get asked this question no less than 24 times a day. And that question is, you use this, but can I use this? Will this work? Can I try this? Anytime I answer that question, my response always goes something like this. I use chipboard, but please use whatever it is that you have. If you have something that I haven't used and you want to try it, go ahead and try it. Experiment with it. That is one of the best ways to learn and to grow in any hobby or craft or anything. Trial and error will tell you whether or not an item that you want to use is going to work. So the next time that you have something that you want to use that I didn't use in the video, but you think that it might work, go ahead and try it. I think you'll be amazed by the end results because there are so many of you who have found suitable alternatives to chipboard that work for you. I'm a chipboard lover, but so many of you have other items that you use and you're just as happy with the outcome as I am with my chipboard outcome. And another common question that I get is around this little thingy right here. This is my finger blade. And for those of you who've been with me for more than 3 or 4 months, you know that a while back I confessed to not being able to use scissors. And I am not very good with scissors. I can't cut straight. I can't cut close to the line. So many years ago, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say over 15 years ago, I looked for suitable alternatives to scissors. I tried X-Acto knives. I didn't have great control with that. And then one day, I came across this finger blade by Fiskars, and I use it religiously. I absolutely love my finger blade. You guys see me use it as my primary cutting tool on the channel. And it's just one of those things that if you craft with me, you'll never see me without it. In fact, I probably have about 6 or 7 of them strategically placed so that when I'm crafting wherever I might be, I have my finger blade because like I said, I am not good with scissors. Now, some of you have tried the finger blade and realized that it's not for you. There is a slight learning curve to it. I have a video on how to use the finger blade to get the most accurate cuts. I'll see if I can find it and link it in the description box below. But if you have any type of finger or hand dexterity issues, the finger blade might not be for you because it does require that you use those fingers to get an accurate cut when you are making cuts on your paper or whatever it is that you might be doing. But to answer the question, that little thingy on my hand is a Fiskars finger blade, and it is probably my most or one of my most favorite tools that I use when I'm crafting. Why is my paper cracking? Y'all, that is one of those questions that is always going to exist. Papers will crack. And that's just a fact of paper crafting. There are certain papers that are going to be more prone to cracking than others. Certain conditions or temperatures can cause your paper to deteriorate, and it can cause that paper, the fibers in that paper, to become more susceptible to cracking. The age of a paper can also contribute to cracking. The quality of the paper can contribute to cracking. How you score the paper can contribute to cracking. How far apart you space your chipboard pieces when you're laying them down, and how much space you're leaving in between each piece can cause your paper to crack. If the tension is too tight, just like the thread on a bobbin on a sewing machine, if the tension is too tight, the thread will snap. It will break. The same is true if you're laying down chipboard pieces and you have them too close. When you go to fold that book or that folio, if the tension is too tight, if there's not enough space, then the paper might crack. There are some thicker papers out there that are just more prone to cracking than others. It's not necessarily that you're doing anything wrong when your paper cracks. You might just have one of those papers that is going to crack. There are a few things that you can do to try to mitigate the severity of the cracking. You can try scoring on the back and the front of the paper to try to break those fibers up a little bit more. Some people are even spraying a little bit of mist on their paper as they score and fold to try to lessen it, but you certainly don't want to wet your paper because doing that when you're folding it might actually cause it to separate. So making sure that you have a nice good score. When you're folding over, you might want to try being a little bit more gentler with folding and then burnishing very gently before you go in with a harsh burnish, and making sure that if you're using chipboard, you are allowing the appropriate space between each board, especially if you're working with a thicker paper. You will often hear me say, I'm doing a little bit more than 1/8 of an inch because I'm working with a thick paper. And I do that because I want the board and I want the space between the board to have as much relaxation and not so much tension that it might pull apart and cause it to crack. So practice your spacing and scoring on some of that experimental paper that you might have so that you can get the hang of how to score and how to space those chipboard pieces or those cardboard pieces, whatever it is you might be laying down. But even if you do all of that, there are going to be occasions when your paper is just going to crack. It happens to me. It happens to very seasoned paper crafters. No one has cracked the code on fully eliminating cracking in your paper. Another common question that I get is, how can I get in touch with you? I'd love to send you something, or I'd love to send you some photographs of a project that I've made. And I think it's really sweet, and I really do appreciate it. But because it's just me, I'm not in a position to be able to manage emails as well as everything else that I do with the channel. As far as pictures of what you've made are concerned, you can definitely post those pictures on Instagram using the hashtag PoshPaperLadyInspired. And not only will I see them, but everyone else will get to see them as well. I wish I was able to make an email address public, but right now I just don't have the ability to be all things and keep my channel running at the level that it's running. So I really have to give my primary focus to making the videos and responding to the comments. So please keep those comments coming. Use Instagram if you'd like to post pictures, and just know that I am appreciative that you even think enough of me to want to send me those pictures, or you want to reach out to me in a personal way. Where do you find all of those beautiful papers that you use on the channel? Y'all, I find papers everywhere. I do a lot of searching online. If I'm looking for a floral printed 12 by 12 paper, that is exactly what I'll type in the search bar. If I happen to be looking for a green and blue floral print, that is what I type in the search bar. Green and blue floral print 12 by 12 decorative paper. That's exactly what I type. So whatever it is I'm looking for, that is what I type in the Google search bar. I don't have a magic button. I don't have magic access to all of these beautiful papers. I just take some time, go out to the internet, and just play around and see what's out there. You'll be amazed at all of the beautiful papers and embellishments that you're able to find. If you can think it, go ahead and type it in that Google search bar, because there's probably an item out there that meets that need. And then finally, where can I buy some of the things that you just used? I'm going to switch to my overhead camera for this one. Y'all, a lot of the items that I'm using on my channel can be found in my Amazon storefront. And a lot of you have questions about, where do I find the Amazon storefront? So when you're on my channel, underneath the video where my title bar is, you will see the word more. If you hit the word more, the word description will come up. This is the description box that I reference when I'm talking about it in the video. So as you scroll, you're going to see more. Right here you will see, click the link for my Amazon store to find most of the items used in this video. So when you click that link, it's going to take you to my Amazon storefront. And in that Amazon storefront, I have it broken down by type. So if you're looking for some of the items that I use on the channel, if you click the awesome tools, you'll see some of the things that I'm using. So I've tried to make it as easy as I possibly can. If you're looking for, let's say, paper and adhesives, there's paper and adhesives right there. So just keep scrolling and you'll see some of the items that I have used on the channel in the video. If you come here and you don't see those items, then I unfortunately don't have a link available to it. I tried to link everything that I'm using so that if you're interested in it, you'll be able to find it in my Amazon storefront. So whenever you have the question such as, oh my goodness, I love that blue mat, where can I get it? Well, under awesome tools that I'm using, as we scroll, there's my mat. So I have all of these things in there. As a matter of fact, I just passed my glue gun. So all of those items that I typically use on the channel can be found in the description box in my Amazon storefront link. So y'all, those are some of the most common questions that I've gotten in 2022. I know that there are more questions that you might have, but those are some of the most common. If I've missed some and you have questions, leave it in the comment section because I do read those comments, and if I get enough of the same question, then I'll do this again. So I hope that you have found this helpful and informative. I know I didn't cover everything, but I hope that I was able to give you some well-rounded answers to some of the questions that you do have. Again, thank you guys so much for the awesome way that you support my channel. You show up for me, you engage, you help me to grow on YouTube, you help me to grow in my comfort level in front of the camera. You have helped me in ways that you'll never know, and I want to thank you for that. So, as always, y'all, please be safe, be kind, be the reason someone smiles today. Happy crafting, and we'll chat later. Bye.